the Patriots were able to sustain a bit of pressure on you without having to blitz much at all. How do you guys as a unit sort of correct that going into what'll be another tough front seven against Vegas?
Yeah, I think. First off, I thought the offensive line did a good job. There was a couple times I was drifting a little bit, and so I'll do better at working within the pocket, especially when they're only rushing 3 to 4 pass rushers. I have to trust in them, and then just getting the ball out of my hand and finding the right reads. There was a couple times in the game after watching film. I think I said it after the game, but even after watching film, where there were some guys open and I wasn't able to find them. And that's a great defense, and we're going up against Norwin this week, so we have to accept the challenge every single play.
Let's go next to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick. I wonder if you could two questions. I'll just ask the first one first, Brad, if you can hold on for me. What went through your mind when you heard about Stephen Gilmore testing positive, and how have you been just trying to process that?
I think you just have to trust in the process and the protocols that are set in place. I mean, obviously, knowing that I went up to him after the game and just gave him the high five like I've done my whole career, and not thinking about it. It was, a little bit of a mental lapse, just trying to show sportsmanship and stuff like that. But I feel like the protocols in place are good, and I just have to trust in that, wear my mask, do whatever Rick and them say, and then just trust in. We don't all know what's happening in this world this time, but just accept the challenge every single day of being in the best place I can be to be available for the team.
And then the other part, Patrick, this is kind of personal, but I think it's pertinent. I mean, with you guys announcing that Brittany's pregnant, and then with Jordan last week and this, what kind of discussions do you have about that, or how do you process that aspect of all this?
Yeah, it is, and it's something that I think about every day. You have to think about that with her being pregnant and kind of that high risk category. And so I just try to do my best, especially after finding out Jordan was positive. Obviously, we stayed 6 feet apart, and our meeting rooms are set up to where we're far enough apart, or he's in the virtual meetings or whatever that situation is. But when I went home over the weekend, I slept in a different bedroom and stayed away from her as much as possible, and until I've kind of gotten these negative tests back. And so I just try to do my part to kind of keep myself away from her and social distance whenever stuff like this arises. But the only thing good about being here every single day is I get tested every single day. So it's good at keeping track of where I'm at.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, you touched on this a minute ago, but I wanted to go back to it. You were around Jordan Ta'amu, I'm sure, in the days before he tested positive, and then obviously there was the Gilmore thing. So what's your level of concern right now that you have or will soon get the virus, not just yourself, but the other quarterbacks, the rest of your teammates, your coaches, everybody else?
Yeah, it's a different time. I think that's the biggest thing, and you knew that coming into this season. If you thought you were going to go through the entire season and no one was going to test positive, then you had a little bit of false hope. And so you just trust that the protocols in place are the right protocols. Kind of like I said, obviously with Brittany being pregnant, I try to do whatever I can to social distance and stay away, because it's even being available to the team, but even more part for me, just kind of staying, keeping my family safe. And so I just do my best part of staying socially distanced, and obviously had a little lapse at the end of the game, just trying to show respect to a great football player who I hope is getting better very quickly. And I'll try to keep away from that and try not to do it again.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick. Certainly understand that you're so used to doing something like that with Stephon Gilmore after the game. I'm just wondering, does the NFL contact you after they see a video like that? Do you hear from the NFL or the Players Association that they kind of remind you not to do that?
The NFL talked to our team. I think talked to Rick, and they are in constant communication with Rick, the NFL and the NFLPA, and they do a great job of that. And Rick reminded guys after the game, and he also reminded guys today in our meetings of kind of the protocols and the different stuff that we have to do in the building and during the games. And so I think as long as we listen to those protocols, we can keep from hopefully having any outbreaks or anything like that, and keep it to an isolated incident, and hopefully be able to go out there and play the sport that we love every single day.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. So you're a quarter of the way through the season now, and the talk all offseason was, run it back. We're not satisfied with the Super Bowl. But now you're 4 games into the season. You're undefeated, playing well on both sides of the ball. How proud are you of just the entire team in this group for taking that challenge seriously this year?
Yeah, it takes a special group of men to come out here and not be satisfied with coming off a Super Bowl championship and not relax. And I think that's what you're seeing with these guys is we're 4-0, but we're taking every week as serious as the next one, and taking every single day and really accepting the challenge and the opportunities that we have. Because in this league, every single team, every single week can beat you, and so you have to make sure you take them as serious as a Super Bowl game every week that you're here.
Got 3 more hands up. We'll go right down the line. Darren, Sarin, and then Matt. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Patrick. A quick question. Obviously, with this whole COVID thing, I know you are the player rep for the Kansas City Chiefs. If it comes to a situation where players need to be isolated in a bubble hotel, so to speak, have you all had that conversation? And if so, what's the thought process? If it comes to something like that, would you all be willing to actually isolate yourself over the next few months in a hotel, so to speak, the team and organization, to make sure that the season is able to be completed?
I think there's been a couple talks talking about situations like that between the players union and NFL and stuff like that. But I think if you look at kind of the transcript baseball did, and they had some outbreaks earlier in their season, and then guys kind of really got with the protocols, and they were able to get through the season without a lot of positive tests near the end of it. I think that it's a good transcript and a good blueprint for us. And so I think if we can just kind of get through, I mean, there's kind of just been one real outbreak and a couple positive tests here and there. But if we can get to the protocols and really enforce them within each other, within the players and within the coaches, I think we can get to where we don't have to be in that bubble situation. But if it happened, I mean, I know for me, I love the game, and I know how special this team is, so I would be willing to do it. But I know it's different for every individual.
Let's go to our last two. We'll go Sarin and then Matt. Go ahead, Sarin.
Patrick, I'm curious, I know you guys, Andy's probably got a schedule for any kind of, you got a Saturday game, got a Friday game, got a Thursday game. He's ready to put it all together, but it's something that he plans for all year, right? You guys got this extra day thrown in there. I'm curious, what do you do with it? Do you pack in a little bit of Raiders prep since you lost a day there, or does everybody just relax? How does that change your preparation?
Yeah, I think with the players, you can't really prep for the next game. I mean, obviously we lost a day of the week, but you have to make that up yesterday when you're kind of usually on your like kind of off day where you're just kind of getting a little bit in. You have to make sure you double up and get that day back. But for me, I watched college football. I prepared for the Patriots another day and got as much as I could in. And I tried to do my best to relax my body, and so I was able to go out there and play my best football.
We'll last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, you were pretty tough on yourself the other night after the game. And, it didn't sound like you were the guy that won a game by 16 points, maybe even lost the game. What is it just about your competitive nature and your self-criticism that when you have a stat line that, hey, would be a career day for some guys, that you're considering it a down game for you?
I think it's just setting the expectation at a very high level, and I think with the guys that we have on this offense and the guys that we have in this locker room, that we expect to go out there and score every time we hit the field. And when we have a game like last week, where we're playing a very good defense, but we just weren't executing at a high level, then you're not going to put points on the board. But the good thing about this team is it kind of gets slept on, but the defense is a pretty good defense too. And so they kind of held their own like they've been doing all season and since the end of last season. And when you have good complementary football like that, you win football games.